around me are full of the joy of pride.
Yeah, it looks like a full-on celebration in your living room right now.
No, I'm in a hotel actually.
Oh, where are you?
Yeah, I'm in London. I've come to see some friends. It's yeah, because as a fashion photographer, pride was always a big thing in my life when I first moved to London. So I'm meeting a lot of my friends, and we're having pride night.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pride is a very good subject for photography.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good costumes. A lot
A lot of good costumes, but I don't take photographs. I just live it.
Oh, yes, you live it. You're so spiritually advanced.
It's honestly one of the most beautiful things. I'm in Soho in London, and it just comes alive this time of year. And I say for over 20 years, I've been coming along to it and catching it with my friends who have been there campaigning for their rights for years, and it's just great to come and stand alongside them and enjoy the evening.
That sounds awesome. I'm in Bellingham, Washington at the moment, and it's sunny and beautiful, but very quiet and bucolic, and there are no parades of any kind going on outside at the moment. So we wanted to just touch base with you and talk about what we're doing in Laos and this new GISH registration initiative that we just started. For those of you who don't know, this year the winners from GISH are going to Laos, and it's a beautiful country, and it's going to be an amazing trip. And we're also trying to do some things to support Laotian farmers who have unexploded ordinances littering their rice paddies and fields, and kids pick them up, and they look like toys. They look like little balls, and they throw them, and there are a lot of people who are killed and maimed by these vestiges of the Vietnam War, which are still a tremendous hazard. So our goal is to try to clear the land of 25 family farms. And everybody who registers for GISH or donates a GISH scholarship or donates a registration to somebody else, a portion of that right now until the end of registration, which is in less than 2 weeks, will be going to help these family farms and clear the land of mines so that they can, they can go to work in the morning and not be afraid that their children are going to be maimed. We launched this last night, and we've already raised the funds to clear the farms of 7 families, which is pretty awesome. So we're well on our way to the 25. And we're doing this in partnership with an organization called MAG, Mines Advisory Group. Would you like to talk a little bit, Giles, about what they do and
yeah, well, I love and I love kind of going online and seeing everyone's comments about what we're doing and why we're doing it, and it's great to see everybody kind of so geared up for this project. But I also understand that people have some concerns or some fears or lack of understanding, and I'd like to explain just very briefly why should we be helping families in a country that most people have never heard of, when there's people all around the world that need support, and a lot of people living in poverty, a lot of farmers struggling, in America as well. Well, think of it this way. Laos is one of the poorest countries in the world. It's an agricultural country. People mainly live subsistence farming, so they have to live off the land to grow enough rice to live on. And imagine that country, a country in that real poverty, through no fault of its own, was bombed during the Vietnam War. It never had war declared on it. It never fought against anybody. It was a completely innocent party in that whole Vietnam conflict. So as a completely innocent country, nothing involved in it, they had millions, and we're talking millions of these small little cluster munitions dropped across the country with the sole purpose of stopping people farming there, because they didn't want people growing rice that they would then sell to the Vietnamese. So as I say, this is a country that nobody declared war on. It's this little innocent bystander that had this terrible legacy. And it was only recently that people even said and admitted, yes, we did bomb that country. So why should we be helping them? Well, because it's a country that was destroyed through no fault of its own. That means the poorest people, are unable to safely go and farm their land. And as I say, we're dealing with a lot of people all around the world in poverty. But can you imagine? You've got a kid, and when you send your kid to school, you're worried that if they cut through the forest or they take a shortcut to school that day, they may be killed. Or your husband, your partner goes to work in the field that day to kind of collect rice, and he could be killed by another one of these hidden killers. It's hard enough to live as a farmer in a very poor country. But to know that in the field where you work, on your way to school, on your way to the market, there are these small little bombs that could just suddenly go off and kill you or maim your family. And so all we're doing really is just giving them a chance to get their lives back, and just continue the lives that they had before the war, and the bombing that happened to them. So that for me is why it's important. I travel around the world. I've been in 16 countries in the last 12 months. I know poverty. I have seen people living in all sorts of terrible circumstances. So when I say that this is a particular case that I think we can really do something about, I really mean that. And it's not taking into consideration all the other countries. I say the countries we live in ourselves. In the UK, we have a lot of poverty issues. In America, there's a lot of issues. But this is something where you just go, this was not these, this was unfair. These people were already struggling, and a war that they had nothing to do with devastated their lives. So let's just give them an opportunity to get their lives back and continue their simple life of farming and trying to keep their families together.
And to be clear, when the winners go to Laos, they're not going to be in areas that have unexploded ordnances on the ground. That aspect is it going to be very safe for the winners, but there are huge swaths of this country that are still in jeopardy from this. So, for those of you who are worried about that, don't worry.
Say something about that. I mean, yes, there are places there are large areas that are contaminated, that are risky for the families living there. But Laos is one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been to. It's an unspoiled paradise. It's mountains, rivers, fountains. People are the warmest people you could ever imagine. Everywhere you go, you'll stop by the side of the street. You'll eat a big bowl of soup. People will come over and talk to you. They want to share things with you. Of course, this is my job. I'm not going to take anybody anywhere on this trip that they're in any kind of risk. I mean, there's no question about that. And the country itself is one of the safest countries you could travel. There's no crime. There's no difficulties in that sense. I have a thing called my sister rule, because I traveled to some of the most dangerous places in the world. And so when I say to my friends, like, hey, you should go to Lebanon or you should go to Laos, they're always like, yeah, but would you take your sister there? Because they know how protective I am about my sister. So my sister rule basically means if I say my sister can go there, it's the safest place you can imagine. And Laos would definitely be on the list of places I would advise my sister to go. So yeah, it doesn't get a better grading than the sister rule.
That's a good litmus test. I like that. Thank you, Giles, for helping facilitate this and for all of your work around the world. This is always so inspiring, and I just feel really lucky that we have been able to marry our strange little scavenger hunt with your knowledge and charity around the world, and it's just been such a cool thing to be able to partner with you on this. So,
and what I would say as well is this will be the fourth time we've worked together to try and change the lives of some people. I think what's really exciting is with this project, I think it's going to be the most important impact we've had, because it's going to be more than just those families that we're able to support, the areas that we clear, exactly for the reasons we've been discussing. So many people have misconceptions or lack of knowledge about Laos. So not only are we as a community going to be raising funds and helping these families directly, but the whole GISH community is going to become informed about this amazing country. They're going to understand the history of what happened there, and they're going to be the first ambassadors for that country. And so everybody that's involved in this project, you're not only changing lives there, but you're going to be telling your friends and you're going to be explaining about Laos. So we're going to do a real huge impact. And I think a lot of people who have the wrong idea of Laos are going to kind of learn what an amazing country it is through this project.
Very cool. Well, anything else that we should?
Well, I wanted to throw in a couple of things about what we'll be doing on the trip for the winners going to Laos.
Oh yeah.
One of the things that I'm going to be there as your guide extraordinaire, showing you the wonders of Laos, which will mainly involve eating food. Most of my trips tend to involve having breakfast, and over breakfast I plan lunch. And then during lunch, I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner. So I hope whoever comes with us is going to be looking forward to a lot of amazing food. But also what I'm going to do, I mean, my job is as a photographer. I've worked for 25 years for everyone from Vogue to GQ, New York Times. And one of the days when we're away, what I'd love to do is for the group with us is to have a kind of photography class. And that might be doing portraits or landscapes. But what little knowledge I have, I will gladly pass on, and really look forward to doing kind of a photography day.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Wow.
And then can I say the other thing as well? We've got this thing.
Oh yeah.
Which is a really, really cool thing. This is about turning negatives into positives. As we've talked about in Laos, there's this legacy of war. And across the country, there's a lot of metal that was left over from the bomb casings. When they drop from planes, these cluster munitions, they come in these long tubes. And so the local people have started to kind of use this metal, and you'll find it, it's amazing. You'll see canoes made out of bombshells, people canoeing down the rivers. You'll see it in buildings where they've used this metal. And there's an amazing organization in New York called Article 22, and they're jewelry designers. And what they've done is got together with Laotian artisans, and they are taking some of this metal, the casings of bombs, and they're banging it away, making it flat, and then they're turning it into jewelry. And this is a piece that actually I did with the band Massive Attack.
Oh, yeah.
You can see there. And that metal is the casing from a bomb. And now it's been turned into this beautiful piece of jewelry. And the money from the sale of this jewelry goes to help support communities in the area. So one of the things we're going to do on the visit is to go and visit these amazing women who make the jewelry. And we'll all make a piece together, and we can design our own little piece. And we may try you to make a piece, Misha. And that will be something then, as a real reminder of your visit, is a unique piece of jewelry made from what really was a thing of hate into a thing of love.
That's so cool. Wow, this is going to be amazing. I really can't wait.
Yeah, no, there's one of those amazing things in life when you discover something wonderful, and we've all done it. It might be a TV show, it might be we eat something, a restaurant, and you want to share it with all your friends. Laos is like that for me. Laos is this amazing place that I discovered maybe 10 years ago. I didn't really know much about myself. I had a lot of fears about it, and really just didn't know what to expect. I fell in love with that country. This is an amazing opportunity to share that love I have with this country and to introduce it to a whole new group of people. And for me, that's the most exciting thing.
That's so great. Well, I can't imagine a better tour guide. Well, anybody who wants a chance at winning a trip to Laos, register for GISH. You have 9 days left to do it. And when you register, a portion of your registration is going to go to helping MAG clear unexploded ordnances from family farms. So it's going to serve some people in need as well. And and if you, for some strange reason, are not able to sign up for GISH this year, you can donate a GISH scholarship, or you can just pay for someone else's registration, and a portion of those will also go to clearing mines. So we thank you in advance. You have 9 days left. Please join us. And thanks, Giles. Have
Pleasure.
an awesome rest of your Pride Day.
Yeah, I am going to have a very
it's actually almost over, isn't it? It's kind of late there.
No, this is where it gets really fabulous. It's going to be a fabulous Pride evening.
Well, have fun.
Pleasure.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.